The second Avery's fingers laced tightly through mine in front of the swarm of reporters and flashing cameras, my entire world shifted into freefall. Just that morning, she had been on national television denying any romantic involvement with me to protect her political career, insisting I was only a close friend and nominal fiancé for appearances. Now here she was, a rising star politician, publicly embracing our secret lesbian relationship in the middle of the worst scandal of her life. And I knew nothing would ever be the same. The room erupted in a frenzy of shouts and camera clicks, the air thick with the scent of sweat and desperation. "Congresswoman Avery Thompson, is this your way of coming out?" one reporter yelled, shoving a microphone forward like a weapon. Avery's grip only tightened, her palm warm and steady against mine despite the chaos, but I could feel the tremor running through her. My stomach twisted. This was supposed to be fake, a 6-month arrangement to soften her image for the swing district voters who wanted family values. I was Morgan Hayes, 27, a graphic designer from Seattle with zero political ambition, hired through a discreet mutual friend to play the doting fiancé. No feelings allowed. That was the rule we both swore by in her sleek Capitol Hill office 9 months earlier. Back then, Avery had leaned across her mahogany desk, her dark hair pulled into a professional bun, eyes sharp with ambition. "The polls say I'm too cold, too single, too focused on policy," she said with that calm confidence that made her a rising star at 28. A fiancé changes the narrative. You get paid well, attend a few events, and we part as friends when the campaign heats up for re-election. I had laughed it off at first, thinking it was some elaborate joke. But the check was real, the non-disclosure agreement ironclad, and the first gala we attended together felt oddly natural. Her hand on the small of my back, the way she introduced me as my partner Morgan, with just the right warmth. Her parents, her father, a retired senator, and her mother, a society fixture, beamed at us over Thanksgiving dinner in their Virginia estate, praising how traditional it all looked. My own family in Seattle was more skeptical. "Politics eats people alive," my mom warned on the phone. But the money helped pay my student loans and Avery was magnetic. Late-night strategy sessions turned into shared takeout and stories about her childhood dreams of changing the world. The lines blurred slowly, like fog rolling in off the Potomac. A brush of fingers while reviewing polling data. A lingering look during a charity walk. I told myself it was just the role. Until it wasn't. Now, standing on that stage with the world watching, I realized the scandal had started 2 weeks ago with a leaked photo from our private weekend in the Shenandoah Valley. Someone had snapped us laughing too closely, heads bent together under a blanket. The opponent, a ruthless conservative challenger, pounced. Misuse of campaign funds for a personal cover-up, his team claimed in the lawsuit filing. It was nonsense. The money was my fee, not campaign cash, but the damage was done. Reporters dug into my past social media, old posts hinting at previous girlfriends. Avery's team scrambled. She went on TV that morning to deny everything, calling me a trusted advisor. And yet here she was, defying it all. "Yes," she said into the microphones, voice steady but eyes locked on mine. "Morgan is more than my fiancée. She's the woman I love." The words hung in the air like smoke. My heart raced. This was suicide for her career. Her district was purple, her family conservative to the core. One wrong move and it was over. But her hand in mine felt like the only solid thing left. I squeezed back, terrified of what came next. The press conference dissolved into pandemonium. Security ushered us out a side door while questions rained down like bullets. In the car, Avery finally let go, slumping against the leather seat. "I'm sorry," she whispered, but her eyes said otherwise. I couldn't lie anymore. Not when they tried to paint you as some disposable prop. I stared out the window at the blurring DC streets, the weight of her choice settling on my chest. We had spent months building walls, public smiles, private distance. Now those walls were rubble. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Her chief of staff, her parents, donors pulling funding. The lawsuit wasn't just about money. It threatened an ethics investigation that could strip her seat. One decision, this handhold, had turned a manageable scandal into a career killer. I wondered if I should have pulled away, protected her the way she asked me to in the beginning. But as the car sped toward her apartment, I knew silence was no longer an option. The real test was just starting. We barely made it inside Avery's Georgetown townhouse before her phone rang again. Her father this time. "What the hell were you thinking?" His voice boomed through the speaker, loud enough for me to hear from the kitchen where I poured us both water with shaking hands. Avery paced the living room, still in her navy suit from the press conference, the hand that had held mine now clenched at her side. "Dad, it's not what you think," she started, but he cut her off. "The family name is on the line. Your mother is in tears. End this charade before the donors flee." She hung up without another word, dropping onto the couch like the fight had drained her. I sat beside her, our knees touching, no longer an act. "They don't understand," she said quietly. "They never did. The fake engagement was supposed to buy me time, make me relatable. But you became real." Her admission hung between us, heavier than any lawsuit. I remembered the first time the lines truly blurred, 3 months into the arrangement. We were at a fundraising dinner in San Francisco, her hand resting on mine under the table as she schmoozed donors. Later, in the hotel suite, we stayed up talking about her fears of being outed too soon. "One day maybe," she had said, eyes soft. "But not while I'm climbing." That night we almost kissed. Almost. I pulled back, citing the rules. She nodded, but the air between us changed forever. The next morning the tabloids exploded. "Congresswoman Thompson's lesbian bombshell," one headline screamed. My inbox flooded with interview requests, old high school friends texting in shock. My mother called from Seattle, voice tight. "Morgan, honey, are you okay? This isn't you politics scandals. Come home." I reassured her, but doubt crept in. Was I protecting Avery or dragging her down? The lawsuit from her opponent had escalated overnight. His lawyers claimed the fiancé arrangement was a campaign finance violation, demanding documents and my testimony. Avery's legal team warned that cooperating could clear her name but expose our private moments. Texts, the weekend photo. Staying silent risked perjury charges. "We deny everything," her chief of staff advised in an emergency call. "Call it a misunderstanding." Avery looked at me, eyes searching. "Or we fight it together. Tell the truth." The choice felt like jumping off a cliff. One path saved her seat, the other saved us. I chose to stay silent for now, but the pressure built like a storm. Family dinners turned into interrogations. Her mother arrived unannounced that evening, pearls gleaming, demanding I sign a statement calling it all a publicity stunt. "You're ruining her future," she hissed at me in the hallway. Avery stepped between us. "Mom, enough. Morgan stays." The door slammed behind her mother, leaving us in heavy silence. That night Avery curled against me on the couch, not for cameras but because she needed to. "I don't regret grabbing your hand," she whispered. But I saw the fear in her eyes. The media camped outside. Donors pulled out. Her poll numbers tanked 10 points. Every decision carried the weight of our futures. Silence felt safer, but it was choking us both. The real crisis was only beginning as the lawsuit subpoena arrived at dawn. The subpoena hit like a punch to the gut, my name listed as a key witness in the ethics probe. Avery read it over coffee the next morning, her face paling under the kitchen lights. "They want you to testify under oath about our arrangement," she said, voice low. Outside, reporters still lingered, their vans lining the street like predators. I set my mug down, hands steady only because I forced them to be. This was the moment the drama turned deadly serious. Testifying truthfully meant admitting the fake start and the real feelings that followed, handing the opponent ammunition to paint Avery as dishonest. Lying under oath risked jail. Her legal team pushed for a joint statement denying romance, but Avery refused. "I'm done hiding you," she told me that afternoon during a tense walk in Rock Creek Park, away from prying eyes. The trees filtered the sunlight, reminding me of our happy days before the leak. Picnics where we laughed about policy wonkery and future plans. Those memories clashed with the present, her phone vibrating with texts from party leaders urging damage control. "Step back from the relationship publicly," one senator advised in a voicemail. "Save the seat first." Avery deleted it without replying, but I saw the conflict tearing at her. My own family added fuel. My brother texted, "This is career suicide for her and embarrassment for you. Walk away." I couldn't. The love that started as pretend had become the only truth I clung to. Family pressure peaked at a forced dinner with Avery's parents 2 days later. Her father dominated the table, demanding we correct the narrative before the next hearing. "This lesbian angle will cost you the moderate voters," he said bluntly, as if I weren't sitting right there. Avery's hand found mine under the table again. A silent rebellion. "Dad, Morgan isn't an angle. She's my life." Her mother gasped, pushing away her plate. The argument escalated, voices rising until Avery stood, pulling me with her. "If you can't accept us, don't call." We left in silence, the car ride home heavy with what we'd sacrificed. That night, the media leaked more. Old emails between us hinting at intimacy. The lawsuit expanded to include defamation claims against Avery for misleading the public. Her chief of staff quit the next morning, citing irreconcilable differences. I offered to testify in a way that protected her. Vague answers about our bond, but she shook her head. "No more half-truths. Whatever we say together." The decision haunted me. Silence had protected her career so far, but it was eroding our trust. Courage meant risking everything. Her seat, my privacy, our families. As we prepared for the hearing, paparazzi chased our car through D.C. streets. One wrong word in court could end it all. Yet Avery's quiet strength, the way she held me close that night, made me believe we might survive. The tension coiled tighter, every choice a potential breaking point. The courtroom buzzed with tension as we entered the hearing, flashbulbs popping despite the judge's warnings. Avery sat beside me at the defense table, her suit crisp but her eyes tired from another sleepless night. The opponent's lawyer drilled me first. "Miss Hayes, was this engagement a paid arrangement to deceive voters?" My throat tightened. "Truth or loyalty?" Avery's hand brushed mine under the table. A reminder of the park walks and shared dreams we once had. I answered carefully, admitting the initial contract but emphasizing what it had become. "It started as business," I said, voice steady. "But love grew." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Avery's family watched from the back, faces stone. The media outside would twist it into headlines by evening. Back home, the fallout was immediate. Her remaining donors called for a press conference to clarify. Instead, Avery drafted a statement refusing to deny us. "I'm not sacrificing Morgan for polls," she told her new advisor over speakerphone. The advisor warned of resignation pressure from party leadership. Family texts poured in, her mother begging her to think of your future. My dad urging me to get out before it's too late. The scandal had morphed into a full-blown ethics investigation, with threats of censure if we didn't separate publicly. That evening, a car accident nearly sealed our fate. Paparazzi tailing us too closely caused a minor crash on the Beltway. No one hurt, but the footage went viral. Avery shielding me from cameras as we climbed out. Commentators spun it as reckless behavior from a distracted politician. Her opponent demanded she step down. In the hospital waiting room for a checkup, Avery turned to me. I could deny it all right now, say the handhold was a mistake, blame stress. It might save the seat. Her words cut deep. I stared at her, the woman I had fallen for despite every rule. "Or we face it," I replied. The choice hung between us like a live wire. Silence promised safety, but meant living in shadows again. Courage meant public war. She chose neither immediately, instead calling a small press gaggle outside the hospital. "No comment on personal matters," she said, but her arm stayed around my waist. The mixed signal fueled more stories. My job offers dried up overnight. Friends distanced themselves. Avery's poll numbers hit rock bottom. We spent the night talking through worst-case scenarios. Her resignation, moving away, starting over. The drama tested every boundary. One decision to stay silent could preserve her career, but kill what we had built. Another to speak out might destroy us both. As dawn broke, the lawsuit demanded a settlement meeting. Avery's grip on my hand that morning felt like a promise. The stakes had never been higher. Settlement talks collapsed when Avery refused to sign a clause denying our relationship. The opponent's team stormed out, vowing to drag us through trial. In the hallway outside the mediator's office, she pulled me close, whispering, "I can't sell us out." But the cost mounted fast. Party leaders summoned her to a closed meeting that afternoon, emerging with an ultimatum: distance herself or lose committee assignments. Her face was pale when she returned to the apartment, where I waited with takeout we barely touched. They called it political suicide, she said, sinking into the chair. Family pressure intensified. Her father threatened to publicly disown her in a statement to the press. My mother flew in unannounced, pleading with me to end it. This isn't love, it's destruction, she argued in the guest room. I defended us, but her words planted seeds of doubt. Was my presence the anchor or the anchor dragging Avery under? That night, alone in bed, Avery confessed her fears. Every time I think about the next election, I see the hate mail, the lost votes. But then I see you and it all fades. Her vulnerability cracked me open. We had come so far from the nominal arrangement, through galas, late debates, quiet mornings where love grew in secret. The breaking point arrived with a leaked video from our car accident, edited to suggest distraction caused by inappropriate behavior. Social media exploded. Protests formed outside her office. Avery's staff walked out in solidarity or fear. I suggested she take a step back, issue a vague apology to buy time. Silence saved politicians before, I said. She shook her head. Not this time. Not us. The decision tore at her. We argued for hours, me pushing protection, her insisting on truth. In the end, she scheduled a live press conference for the next day. The night before, we sat on the balcony overlooking the city, hands intertwined like at the start of it all. Whatever happens tomorrow, she said, I choose you. Morning brought chaos. Cameras already camped out. At the podium, with me standing just off stage, Avery began calmly addressing the scandal, the lawsuit, the accusations. Then she paused, turned, and reached for me. Her hand found mine in front of the live feeds, pulling me into frame. Morgan isn't my fiancée for show, she declared, voice ringing clear. She's my partner and I love her. The cameras flashed wildly. My heart stopped. This was the moment, the one that could end her career. Reporters shouted questions. Her phone lit up with notifications. But in that grip, I felt the courage we both needed. The aftermath hit instantly. Calls for resignation, her family cutting ties publicly. Yet as we left the stage together, the weight lifted slightly. We had chosen each other. The real fight for our future was just beginning. The resignation letter sat on Avery's desk for 3 days while the nation debated her choice. Headlines screamed, Congresswoman's live confession sparks resignation, calls in lesbian scandal fallout. Donors vanished. Her office emptied. I watched her stare at the paper, pen in hand, the same hand that had grabbed mine on live TV. I don't regret it, she said finally, signing with a steady stroke. But the price. She trailed off. We moved out of the townhouse amid moving vans and lingering paparazzi, heading to a quiet rental in Virginia to regroup. Family silence was deafening. Her parents refused calls, mine offered cautious support from afar. The lawsuit settled out of court weeks later, but the damage lingered in lost opportunities. Avery started consulting on policy from home. Her political dreams paused but not dead. I returned to design work, fields away from the spotlight. Nights were spent talking through the what-ifs. What if she had stayed silent? What if I had pulled away at the press conference? The relationship strengthened in the quiet, free from pretense. Picnics in the park reminded us of happier times, hands intertwined without fear. Yet the consequences were real: strained family ties, career setbacks, public scrutiny that followed us to grocery stores. Courage had cost us stability, but silence would have cost us each other. Months later, as we rebuilt, Avery received an offer for a nonprofit role advocating for LGBTQ rights in politics. She accepted, her fire undimmed. That handhold wasn't the end, she told me one evening over dinner. It was the beginning of something honest. I smiled, squeezing her hand across the table. The drama had tested us to the limit, proving that every decision carried weight, protecting self or the one you love. We chose love, and though the road ahead was uncertain, we walked it together. The public forgot eventually, but we never would. The price of courage was high, but so was the reward. Was holding my hand in front of those cameras the bravest thing Avery ever did? Or the biggest mistake that cost us both our futures? True or false? Silence is always the safest path when love and ambition collide.